Well, hey everybody, happy Friday. Wanted to do a video today on the comparison. Hold on guys, I'll just fix this just a little bit. Comparison traps that we kind of get ourselves wrapped up in. Okay, and what do these comparison traps do? They actually stop us in our tracks. The traps stop us in our tracks, and you can call them S like in Sam, L, B like in boy, self-limiting beliefs. We bring this on ourselves. We orchestrate this ourselves, okay? And what are they? We're going to talk about the negatives first and then go into some positives. Hi, Yasmani, good to see you. Here are some negatives that will pop up for us that make us stop moving forward into the plan and the purpose that has been put on our lives, okay? And so we listen to other people and then we stop, or we do this ourselves in our own head, okay? And it has nothing to do with anybody. Yasmani, I already answered that. It's called the Inner Circle class. And if you look at the top of this page, you can see a graphic for that, okay? Or go to my website, because I talk about it in almost every video. But go to the website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and look for the Paralegal Inner Circle class, okay? It'll say Inner Circle, Paralegal Inner Circle class info, okay? So here's some negatives. You feel that other people are far better than you are. Well, some of them may be at this point when you start out, right? But because of that, you stop. You look at other people and say, well, their family supports them and I don't have that, so I can't do this. So then you stop. They have money. And so because they have money and I don't, I can't do this. And then what do? That you put up the stop sign. They're smarter than I am, or they have more gifts than I do. And so I can't do this. What goes up again? The stop sign. Every time you talk and negativity comes out of your mouth in this regard, what are you doing? You're putting up a stop sign, okay? I'm not pretty, I'm not attractive enough, I'm not handsome enough, so I can't be in this. Now, I had somebody say that to me, that they felt they weren't hired by an attorney in my law firm because they weren't as pretty as the girl who did get hired. I can tell you with all honesty, that girl, that woman was not hired because she had a major attitude. And so you go in with an attitude in an interview, good luck with that one, okay? And the other girl did not have a bad attitude. That can be a big part of it. So while the other girl was, yes, she was beautiful. She was beautiful. But she also had this, I'm going to learn all I can attitude, and had a very nice personality to be around every day, you know? And so there's the truth of that matter had nothing to do with looks or if somebody was beautiful or not, or handsome, okay? So the other thing is, you might say to yourself, well, they have a degree or they have a certificate, but I can't afford to do that, so I guess I can't do this. Here's my stop sign, okay? And this is what we often tell ourselves. We procrastinate because it's rooted in fear. We don't believe that we're going to be able to do this. And we also use it as an excuse. We use all of these as an excuse to not work hard. And when I have talked to people that I assumed, remember what I tell you about the legal field, you don't guess, you never guess, and you never assume. You go for the truth and you try to figure what the facts are. So don't make assumptions about other people. And I assumed that successful people had a lot of people around them supporting them and going like this, and telling them, oh, they're so great and they're going to achieve great things. Most of the people I talked to did not have that. I would ask them, did you have a lot of support around you when you were growing up? And they said, no. So then all of a sudden, my excuses were taken right away. I could no longer use excuses like that, which I was doing. What excuses are you using right now? So let's take those out. Let's remove the stop signs, throw them out, and start to believe in what you can do instead of what you can't do. Okay? And don't listen to the naysayers, please, the ones who are I call them negative Nellies. Don't listen to that, because that's how they run their own lives. You don't need to be part of that. Okay? Just become, close off the ears. All right. So now that's all of those things that I mentioned are what you're comparing yourself to other people. Now ask yourself, when you do that, what good will it do you? Well, there are some good things that come out of some comparisons. So if I saw somebody that was a successful paralegal, one of the first things I would ask myself is, I wonder how they did that. I wonder how they got to where they needed to go. And is that because they're so special? Well, I would say they're special to God. But as far as being better than you, not so much. They just worked harder. Okay? So when they saw that they could achieve something, they pushed themselves harder. When they saw somebody else who was doing what they wanted to do, I mean, you can sit there and wish all you want, and it's not going to happen. So you need to work hard to achieve it. So when you see somebody like that, what does it make you do? You want to push harder. You're going to throw away the excuses, and you're going to find out what you need to learn, because they certainly did, didn't they? And did they all get a 2-year degree? No. Did they all get a certificate? No. Did some of them, and a lot of them, have a high school diploma and that's it? Yes. Did some of them major in Greek history or Greek mythology in school, or became English majors or political science majors, got a bachelor's degree, and then they didn't know what they were going to do with it? And can they get in this field? Of course. Will the degree open the door wider for them? Not necessarily. So don't make that assumption. Don't think that degrees grease the wheel, or that that's the only way you can do it. Open this up and don't put the stop signs in front of you. That's playing the comparison games. And that also gives you an out. If in reality that you don't want to work that hard, it just feels overwhelming. So you give up instead of saying, well, I'll just do this one step at a time. What does it take for me to be successful? Am I worth it? Are you? Of course you are. So no more comparing to anybody else. You run your race. You run your own race. You stay in that lane and you wear that lane out. Okay, you're not going to run in somebody else's lane. You're running in your lane that's made just for you, with your purpose at the end of that race. There's your purpose. And there's nothing like working in your purpose. There's nothing like being in your purpose. It's a beautiful thing. And that's where you feel just passionate about what you do and alive. You don't feel like you're going to work and dying every day, unless you're working for the wrong person. You know, and you can fix that. You'll see paralegals complaining online about the career, but that's because they didn't have the strength to say, I'm just going to find another job and work for somebody I like and work in an area of law that I love. And instead, people will whine, 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 whine. So don't be that. Don't compare yourself, and don't be a whiner. Find the solutions, because that's what paralegals do. When you are not a detective, then you're missing the boat. When you're not trying to find out information and on your own, you want people to spoon feed you, that's not a good paralegal. A good paralegal seeks out information, whether you're watching this video here or on my YouTube channel, or you go to my website. Have you been to my website? You know, I mention it in my videos for a reason, because there's a lot of good information there. And the website is called, write it down, paralegalcoffeetalk.com. So go over there and look around. Why am I saying that? Because you need to investigate. You've got to change your mindset into one of an investigator, the one who can find information out. Okay? And sometimes that information is right in front of you and you're not seeing it because you're not being that investigator detective. So today's the day where all that changes. No more, oh, I wish I were like him or her because I would just be successful then. That's baloney. That's an excuse maker. So when you're working for an attorney, you can't be that. Oh, I didn't know. Well, you have to know. You have to find out what to do and how to help that attorney before you start sending resumes and cover letters out, hoping that something sticks. That's not how you do it. They don't run a school. Someone just messaged me the other day and said that a job was open to this person. And it's good opportunity. But then the training didn't come through as promised. I'm going to tell you, a lot of times it doesn't. So you have to know what you're doing before you walk into the job. For a large percentage of what you're going to do, you have to know what you're doing before you walk in there. You will still learn new things that you've never seen before, never heard of. That's okay, but you can't be 100% green, okay? You have to be able to help the attorney, okay? And that goes for people who have degrees, who have a certificate as well, because the school did not provide you overall with the practical side of working for the attorney, because the schools can't, overall, they can't use paralegals to teach you, because the school has to use people with PhD type degrees. See? So my daughter teaches mathematics to college students, and she couldn't do that and be hired by colleges unless she had a PhD in math. And she has a PhD in math education. So she couldn't do it unless she did that. So when you are taught by people who haven't worked as paralegals, there's a whole chunk of information missing, because we're the ones that manage everything in the law firm or in the government agency or in a corporation, if that's where paralegals sometimes work. You know, the paralegal that works at NASCAR in Daytona Beach is going to be responsible for managing everything there, not the attorney. The attorney will be doing other things. But see, so we can't go into a job like that without knowing what you're doing. And the paralegal that teaches you knows what systems you need to use to organize yourself. And these are things you would never have known, more than likely. And the attorneys honestly don't know it because they don't do that in the law firm or in the workplace. It's the paralegal that does it. So I hope this is making sense to you today, okay? Be sure that if you can, get into my Paralegal Inner Circle class today, okay? Or, you know, it's going to be open probably for 2 to 3 more weeks, okay? And then I'm going to close down that launch, okay? So we can focus on our training. But I usually leave it open for 10 days. So it's going to be open for 2 to 3 weeks. Hi, Ro. How are you? Sorry if I'm not seeing everybody's comments. Facebook will only allow me to see a few of them. And that is it. So let me look at one more thing. Let me see if I missed everything. Another positive side, which is really interesting, is that let's look at people who run, and good, I'm glad, Ro. You look at people who like to run races, right? And my husband used to do like 5Ks. And one of the things that you do as a person who you're just in the world and you start to look at what other people are doing. And so people who run and like to compete, they're going to compare themselves, right? And they have age brackets for runners. So they may be 50 to 60 years old, and they'll start seeing what people in the same age, how fast they're running. And you feel good if you're running faster than somebody else in your own age bracket. So you're comparing yourself to them, but it makes you feel good because you're doing better than they are, right? That's how we compare ourselves too, is that we look at people who might have they're not quite as good as we are, and we're comparing it. We're measuring ourselves against that, and then against people who are doing better. It can have a good end. It could be a good ending to that when you are, because of that, when you see somebody doing better, they might be better at some skills. They might be a better typist. They might be a faster typist. But do you have to type 100 words a minute? No, you do not. So if somebody, and I didn't type 100 words a minute, but a friend of mine did, and she talked about it. She was proud of that. But what did that do? Well, she could get her work done a little bit faster than me, but we didn't work together. And even if we did, nobody would be going, wow, she got done 6 minutes faster than you did. No. So you have to look at what's important and how are you going to get to where you need to go. And putting up that stop sign all the time is not going to do it. And I always talk very straight to you. Yeah, this is like straight talk. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and say that everybody will be fantastic. You know what? You put in the work and you'll be fantastic. And you will be in the job that you're supposed to be in. And yes, I'm a praying woman, and I make no bones about that. So when I sat in the parking lot waiting for an interview to happen, and I always got there early, I prayed over that job, and I prayed that I would be in the right place with the right people and not be in a place that would treat me in a bad way or incorrectly, or that wouldn't appreciate the work that I did, you know. And employers don't always tell you when you're doing a great job, but you know. And so I didn't hear a lot, even in the legal field, oh, that was fantastic. But I knew I knocked it out of the park, and I would just visualize this to me. Good job, girl. And I would remind myself of that when I would feel low, I would feel down. If I made a mistake, which I have in my career, that I would own up to it and, just say, I think I messed this up. And then we talk about it. And my goal when I made a mistake was always to say, this is how I'm not going to do that next time. This is something I need to fix so I don't drop a ball somewhere, okay? So don't think that people are we're in this career and we don't drop the ball. Sometimes we do. But that's not an excuse to be mediocre or to drop the ball for anybody. The striving for excellence is constant. And someday when you get a chance, look up the city name, Paterson, New Jersey. That's where I grew up. This is not a beautiful city, but it is to me. It is to me. Has a lot of history and a lot of good history. And so Paterson, New Jersey gave me that perspective, that work ethic coming from my parents and grandparents to work hard and you'll be rewarded. And I had to learn on my own not to take no for an answer and to believe in myself. I had to figure that out on my own because I didn't have the people behind me going like this. I knew how to work hard, but they weren't saying you did a good job or anything. So don't think that everybody has this group of people behind them that are going like this, because what you're saying to yourself is, that gives me an excuse not to do this. So don't play that game with your headspace. Be real with yourself and stop that negativity, that negative self-talk. Okay? Comparisons, comparing yourself, throw it out. All right? You only compare yourself when it's going to push you to be better, to learn those things you need to know, okay? To build a good reputation as that paralegal, to not listen to coworkers who say the wrong things or do the wrong things. You have to distance yourself from people who are like that. You know, you are who you hang with. Remember that. So you remember that at work. You remember that personally. You are who you hang with. Don't listen to people who are gossiping and comparing themselves to other people. People who are like that don't want to see you succeed, because that means they didn't follow their own dreams. And that's hurtful to them. That's why they'll turn into those negative people. When you are procrastinating and you're not going after what God's put in front of you, you can start to get really mean-spirited. And that's coming out of being dissatisfied with yourself. And there's a way to change that. You just make up your mind to change it. Period. No special chemistry involved. No special Harry Potter wand. Just changing your mind that you're going to do this, okay? So become this major detective, this investigative reporter. And you have to pretend that when you're researching something on Google or wherever, that you are going to have to tell somebody about it. And what will you tell them when you look up things? When in the free group I have called Paralegal Break-In, I will put a word And I ask people to look it up. And if you're not part of that group, I would say go in now, because I'm running. You don't have to put up a definition, but it's kind of fun to go look things up like that because it teaches you. So if you want to be part of Paralegal Break-In, please do. If you've never worked in a law firm, this is only for people who've never worked in a law firm or in any capacity in a law firm, okay? Now, remember to go over to the website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and look at the things up at the top. And one of them is the 19 alternative paralegal careers list. Just ask for that and you can get a copy. And you go on there and click on it, okay? It'll take you to a free subscriber hub where you sign up and you get to see some videos that I haven't posted anywhere else. So, and other things too. So, and more things will be added here and there. So thank you so much for being here. I have to remind myself not to compare myself to anybody else. Sometimes we think people are geniuses compared to us. They might be a genius, but you don't need to be a genius to be a paralegal. You have to care about the work you do. Okay? And you cannot take no for an answer, and you cannot say, I can't find it. You have to be able to find answers, because that's what we do. So if that's who you are, great. If that's who you want to be, start doing it. You're changing your mind. You're flipping the switch to your mindset. And there you go. Okay? It is that easy to flip that switch. And you're going to be a different person. Okay? So have a great Friday night. I loved having you guys here. If I missed your comment, and thank you, Yasmani, for your nice words. I appreciate it. If I missed a comment, I'll comment later after I'm done here. Sometimes Facebook, it just hides it. So let me know if you have any questions. You can always post them, and I might answer them during the video, or I might answer them later. Let's see, anything else I can tell you? I don't think so. Oh, there's a free chapter of my book, Legal Break-In, that you can get by going to the website. That's a very good chapter. And I picked that chapter for a very good reason. So go over to the paralegalcoffeetalk.com and get that for yourself. You can get the 19 alternative paralegal careers list and the free chapter and all that. Okay, so have a great one. Loved being here with you all. And I will see you more than likely in a video this weekend sometime. Okay, have a great night, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.